Okay, we'll start the meeting with Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, first thing we have is approval of the agenda, and we have a couple things. Steve Howe would like to be added, so if we can add him under public comments, and then if we can move RJL Solutions under public comments from 7D to under Steve Howe. That'd be okay? Is there, if everybody's okay with that, or if there's anybody else have anything? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve with the revisions.
I'll make that motion to approve with the revision.
Motion made by David. Second by Gail. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 7-0. Public comments. We do not have anybody signed up. So Steve Howe.
I have a truck driver who is quitting. The 29th will be his last day, and I'm just needing permission to replace him after his time is paid out.
The 29th of this month?
Yes.
Okay, so real soon. Okay.
We.
Okay. Do I have any questions for Steve, or if not, I'll entertain
You
a
just
motion.
retiring or?
No.
No.
I'm going to a different job.
Oh, okay.
So you just want permission to advertise?
Yes.
Okay.
Make a motion, we give him permission to advertise to fill the job that's going to be vacated.
Okay.
I'll second it.
Yes.
Motion made to fill the vacancy, advertised, made by Brad, second by
second
Paul. Any other discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay? Anybody?
Thank
Motion
you.
passes 7-0.
Thanks.
Next up is Jonathan Blake from RJL Solutions, here with an update.
Good evening, council. Thanks for the opportunity to be here tonight. Well, it was our first full day in Perry County today. So good to see all of you, and good to have some conversations here in the county. Earlier this month, I did send you our monthly report. You will start seeing those on a monthly basis. I'll send them to you in the the commissioners as well. Just outlining the steps we've taken the previous 30 days, things that are coming up in the upcoming month, and then priorities that we're working on as we move forward. A couple of quick updates, particularly from today. I had a really good conversation with representatives from Wapaka, as well as representatives from the Perry County Chamber, just kind of talking through some of the things that they would like to see and challenges that they've experienced over the last couple of years. So really felt like it was a robust conversation, one that I think everybody was looking forward to having. But I think also, probably some trepidation, not sure who we are, who is RJL Solutions. And so I feel like the conversation went really well. I was really pleased with the outcomes. I have scheduled a time to actually go tour Wapaka on the 26th of June. So I'll be back here doing that then. I'll actually be back in the county before that date, but that's the date we set for that. Just wanted to highlight a couple of things from our report. One, under the priorities for Perry County, as you'll recall, back in April, we held a joint meeting between the commissioners where we talked through several of the priorities, both for the council and the commissioners, including infrastructure, road networks, transportation, fiber. But we also emphasized some of the goals related to industry attraction, wanting to bring new businesses to the county, and then updating some of the policies and procedures of the county. So our team is already starting to look at all of that. One of the things that we do is grant writing for our clients. As I'm sure you're aware, most grants right now are frozen. There's not a whole lot in the market right now. But as both the federal and the state administrations kind of get their feet underneath them, we look for those to start coming back. We had a Indiana First Ready meeting earlier this week. I'll have another one next week. And then we will be meeting with SWIDEC, which is the Southwest Indiana Development Corporation. And we'll be meeting with them tomorrow for their monthly meeting. And then we also have one in 2 weeks. Another quick update, earlier this month and last month, we really hit the ground running, focusing on Project Falcon, which is a business retention and expansion effort. So that's an existing industry that's here in the county. I was in communication with the site selector 2 weeks ago. He indicated that he had received all the information he needed from us. He received all the information he needed from the state. And was really just looking for his client to make a decision on, what they're going to do. So, we evaluated the project's proposed real personal property investments, drafted letters of support, got those circulated to Councilor Harding and the commissioners, and then also worked through potential tax abatement questions, how they might use TIF, things like that. So I will continue to stay up to speed on that and engage with that site selector until they make a decision and report back. Last couple of things. I don't know if you've heard or if you've been made aware, but NDOT is actually hosting roundtable discussions throughout the state. They're going to all 92 counties to talk about road infrastructure and priorities for investment, both on local roads and state roads. I just participated in one a couple of weeks ago for another county. They have not had the one for Perry County yet, so as soon as I find out about that, I will let you all know. I would certainly encourage the council and commissioners to attend. Essentially what they're doing is they're identifying all of the priorities in the county, problem intersections, areas where there are safety hazards, maybe it's pedestrians interacting with the roads or interacting with traffic. So, it would be important to work with Sheriff's Department and county agencies to get crash data, things like that. But really wanting to have that conversation with NDOT so that we can help prioritize some of those investments in the future. Essentially, what's supposed to come out of that is a statewide prioritization of projects. And, a lot of times you hear these 50-year plans where, we'll get to that at some point. But I really get the sense that NDOT's trying to do a better job of prioritizing investments and make things happen much more quickly, so more efficiency. And unfortunately, the metric that is often used, I was in conversation about this today, unfortunately a metric that's often used is the number of deaths that you have at an intersection. It's an unfortunate metric to use. So I get the sense, based on the previous conversation I had with NDOT, that they're looking to maybe change that tactic and look more at how can we prevent that in the future as opposed to how many and so on.
Is that open to the public or is that just for us?
No, it's open to the public. In fact, the one I was just at, there were residents there, there were chamber members there, local highway departments. So yeah.
Okay, we have a citizen who's proposing something in that regard. So if you let us know, I will let her know as well.
Yeah, absolutely. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
I think you've done a good job keeping us up to date on things, and as you send emails, I forward them to every council member, so.
Great. If it ever gets to be too much, let me know.
No, it's never too much,
Okay.
so we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks.
Oh, I also want to introduce Megan Hieronymus. She's with our office. She's our Southern Indiana Business Development Director, so you'll see her around. She'll be coming to meetings as well in between when I'm here, so.
And we met her at our joint meeting, right?
Yes,
That's
oh yes,
correct.
yeah, I forgot you were there. Oh my gosh, sorry.
It's okay.
She looks so
I
familiar.
just sat right beside her, so that's why I know.
I forget how long she's been with us, so.
Yes, you too, thank you. Does anybody have anything else for Jonathan, or you good? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next on the agenda is Tara Lucas, Health Nurse Supervisor, Being for Others Grant, and Tara called me today or reached out to me, and she couldn't make it. She had something happen where her travel plans got interrupted and she couldn't make it here. So I told her that I would talk about this for her. And basically Tara sent you guys all the information. I had originally sent her that Being for Others grant that I had seen online information about it. And then she is interested in applying for it. She would like to apply and use it for her service agreement with Purdue Extension in 2026 and potentially 27 if the grant would allow that. Currently, Purdue Extension provides 4 programs at no cost to our community each year. They're Dining with Diabetes, Get Walking, Food is Medicine, and Be Heart Smart. Their programs are incredible and assist us with meeting the chronic disease core service for their HFI. And she said these classes have had waiting lists since they partnered with Purdue with these in 2024. And then she attached some information. So does anybody have any questions about that? Or, I mean, it's a no match. The grant doesn't have a match. So I think it's a good thing.
Absolutely.
Okay. If nobody has anything else, I'll entertain a motion to allow Tara to apply for that grant.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by David,
Second.
second by Brad. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And next are the minutes. So we have minutes from our April 10th meeting. We'll do these separately, I guess, since you want those. Okay. Chris had distributed the minutes from the joint meeting on April 10th. Are there any changes or corrections, or if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Paul,
I'll second it.
second by Stan. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. The next minutes are from our regularly scheduled April 24th meeting. If there's no changes or corrections, I'll entertain a motion to approve.
I'll make that motion to approve the April 24th meetings.
Okay, David makes the motion. Second by Gail. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 7-0. Okay. And it's you. Next up, Chris.
Okay, the first item, with the health department, working with the health department to update their job descriptions, it actually kind of triggered that the auditor's office had never updated our job descriptions. And from 2023 to 2024, the auditor absorbed the administrator duties along with decreasing from 5 deputies to 4. So, of course, job duties were redistributed, broke down. So my office has spent the last little bit working on updating those and sent those out to you as you guys can see. The notes, the corrections were all noted in red and everything, so. Like I said, yeah, yes, oh, yeah. So just wanted to get those up to date. I feel like a lot of the offices do a good job of keeping their duties and things there. The other thing that my office has done is we're working on cross-training and making sure everybody has their job description binder where if something would ever happen and someone would not be there, because a lot of times one person takes care of it and not doing it where we have detailed instructions. So that's been something that we've worked on in 2025 to make sure we have that where if something would ever happen, we would have that. So just wanted to bring those to the council to get those updated.
Do those need to be separate or?
No.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions for Chris about these? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept the job description.
Okay, motion made by Brad to accept. Second by Corey. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
Payroll HR Deputy Kelly Wilgus has updated the salary ordinance. We added the changes with the HFI funding, planning and zoning, and then also forestry. Just so you guys are aware, the forestry used to be paid out as a 1099, and it is now included in their W-2s. So, because they use county vehicles to do the forestry. The forestry reimburses us, we pay it, then the forestry reimburses us for that. And due to the fact that they are using county vehicles, county gas, stuff like that, that it needs to be included on their W-2. It's something the commissioners changed last year, and we didn't, we updated it.
So it's really no actual change.
No actual changes, it's just changing in the way it's reported. They're not getting a 1099 for it, it's included in their wages on their W-2s.
Which is the way it probably should be.
Which is the way it should be, yes.
So like at budget time, does that show up or it doesn't because it's separate line item? Okay, because I was thinking of that.
It's reimbursable. It's paid out of a separate line item, so then it's reimbursable.
Okay,
So in a sense, it runs negative, and then we submit, once we pay it, we submit it to the forestry for reimbursement.
okay.
So, yeah,
That was my only question. I thought it was a 1099. That's why I wrote it.
yeah, which we've done a lot of that cleanup. We used to have cleaning for
Yeah.
a lot of things that were, and it's good for for the workman's comp liability, all that stuff, that it's covered.
And it's after hours, right? It's not during your normal work hours. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I heard you say that before. But I'll make sure. Yeah. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the salary ordinance? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Yeah, motion to approve the updates.
Okay, motion made by Gail,
I'll second that.
second by Stan. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any nays? Okay.
Next item, created after the ordinance was passed in April, created the fund for the EMS replacement fund, Fund 4937. So now we are ready to do the cash transfers for the appropriations that were in the 2025 budget for the $100,000 to put back annually for EMS replacement, yeah. So you can actually probably do all these together because there's no reason to do, well, no, sorry. I put them on there separate.
You have to do each one of these.
If they're unanimously approved, but you can do it all together.
Okay,
You're good to do the transfer because it's all going at the same time.
okay, are you sure?
Yep.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion for this transfer.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Paul,
I'll second that. Go ahead.
second by Corey. Any further discussion? And I'll just go ahead and say these because it's from general 30,000 to EMS replacement fund, from lit public safety 40,000 to EMS replacement fund 4937, and then from the HFI grant fund 30,000 to 4937 EMS replacement fund. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any nays? Motion passes 7-0.
The first additional appropriation we have is for the supplemental adult probation for the line item of the circuit court judge, secretary, court recorder, in the amount of $1,039. This is just for the mandated raises. I've accidentally left 2 of them off last month, so just cleaning that up.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion for that additional appropriation from supplemental adult probation to circuit court judge, secretary, court recorder.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by Stan,
Second.
second by Brad. Any further discussion? If not, all in favor say aye. Motion passes 7-0.
The next one is the supplemental adult probation circuit court social security in the amount of $913.49. Okay.
Okay, yep. I'll entertain a motion on that one.
I'll make that motion.
Motion made by David,
Second.
second by Gail. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 7-0.
All right, the next additional appropriation is requested by the sheriff's office out of the capital projects fund. I think all that information was sent to you guys regarding the server that is going out and needs to be replaced. So this is a request for an additional appropriation amount of $7,979.83 out of the capital projects fund, $4,800.
Okay, that is the one that we emailed about with the, technically it's for capital projects, so it doesn't really qualify for equipment.
It's got repairs on there. Would that count?
I'm sorry, what?
It has repairs on there as well.
What?
says repairs, buildings and fixtures.
The capital, I don't know, our capital projects is,
The reason I asked for this,
No.
this is what the original, with the money for the jail, what came from. And that's why we asked for out of that.
I understand.
Our server is going down, and that is a critical piece of equipment that we have to have.
I don't doubt that. I don't doubt for a second that you need it and that it needs to be replaced right away so that we don't have any issues with it.
Because
It's just,
what
this
that
isn't the
does-
capital projects fund, can't be used for things like that. It's capital projects funds for like large additions, renovations, all the things. I think I have the email I can.
What
read
it
that.
says, repairs, buildings and fixtures, I thought repairs was falling underneath there.
Not
So-
in the capital project, it doesn't say that.
All right, well, that's what the thing says.
That's
Well,
line item.
yeah, but that's
Line
just our line item here.
With the line item, that's why I took it from
Yeah,
there.
I
So I'm looking, so all the things that does is our cameras for our courthouse, cameras for our jail, including the locks, the entry and exit doors, Sally Port, jail management system, watch tours, and intercoms. And this is a very, very big that we have to have. I've already said I could pay for commissary to use the battery backup. I took that out of the commissary. I'm taking a lot of things out of commissary, and I'm okay with some of that. But this right here, I feel that it's responsibility of the county to fund that.
Well, I understand that there's an urgent need. And
Yes.
in order for us to do another additional appropriation, it would have to be advertised for 10 days. We'd have to, our next meeting's not till whenever, at the end of June 26th, or we'd have to have a special meeting. But with the urgency of it and everything, I just think if you would go ahead and pay this out of your commissary, because I looked at the amounts that you gave us. You currently had like around 63,000 in there. And then I took the highest amount of all the expenditures that you expect toward the end of the year. From now till then, and it was like 53,000, and you still have 7 months to gain commissary money. So I think just in the sense
So
of
I-
urgency, if you could purchase it from there, then you could buy it tomorrow. you know,
So I
today.
have talked to my attorney, and I can refuse. I'm not going to do that. I think it's my job is to purchase things that I've done for the last 10 years that I've been sheriff, and I've purchased a lot of things out of commissary. I don't think it's fair that the sheriff's commissary needs to be used for this. I can read you under 36-2-24, county courthouse, jail, and public offices. Okay, if you look that up, the executive shall establish and maintain a courthouse, jail, and public offices, including the sheriff's office. I'm asking you to please figure out a way to pay this out of either the general or pay it something. I don't think it should come out of the commissary. I'm taking already $700 a month, or excuse me, $700 a month to pay for internet. I've never had to pay for internet until this year because you all cut that budget. Things happen. I didn't agree with it, but I don't get a say in this. I think that the things that we have done, I will tell you right now, I am really worried the future of the sheriff's office. And one reason is, as you all saw, that the Perry County Memorial Hospital is starting a police department. We could very well lose 2, 3. When I have to replace them, that costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of money in uniforms. If all these years that I've been here, that 10 years, I've never approached the county to ask you guys to pay for the body armor that my deputies wear. Physically, if you guys look it up, you all are responsible for that. But I get grants, I pay it out of commissary. I've never asked that. But I think a piece of equipment like a server for our jail, for our sheriff's office is important enough that I think that the county should have to pay for that. And I'm not gonna back off of that. That is something that you all are physically responsible for, to say that we could use commissary, okay? You keep going to that word commissary. What would happen if I went ahead and drained that? But I'm not gonna do that. That's not right for me to do that. But there are a lot of things I pay out of there. I'm just hiring 2 brand new reserves. I'm putting them on there tomorrow. 3 reserves. That's gonna cost me money. That's gonna cost me money out of my commissary, uniform, body armor, things like that. I never came to you guys for any of that stuff. So I'm asking you to please do not ask me to pay this out of my commissary. I pay a lot. I agreed to pay the $5,000 for the battery backup for this new computer, but I think the new computer should come from you all.
I think the issue, Alan, is the urgency, because I agree with you that this needs to be replaced tomorrow or as soon as possible. So in order to do that, we can't do that right now. We don't have anywhere we can just grab from without
So let me
doing an
ask you
additional
this.
appropriation and doing 10 days and,
So could you do this for me? Could I go ahead and call them and tell them, and could you advertise it in 10 years? We have an emergency meeting. I've seen you guys doing this for years. Could you do that? Because I do not feel it's fair that you guys keep going, not everybody, excuse me. There are some that keep using the word commissary. That is not what it's intended for. I do help with that a lot, as you guys can see. Every 6 months, by law, I have to send you everything from the commissary. I don't hide anything in my commissary. But I do not feel that it's fair that I use my commissary for this.
the only thing I will say to that is, I do appreciate you using your commissary for these type things to help offset the budgets. That is what it's for. It's to help alleviate, things that
I
are
do that.
strains on our budget, and I agree.
I have
You
bought vehicles out
do
of
that,
that.
but this is really the kind of something similar, because it wasn't something that was budgeted for. And
So I'm asking you, can you do a additional, advertise it 10 days, 10 days, been a long day. 10 days, we've been in the hospital all morning, afternoon. Can you do that, please? I'm asking you, it's your all's physical responsibility to purchase this, not mine. I purchase a lot of things out of that commissary.
Can I ask, if our server here at the courthouse would go down, where would that be paid out of? Where would you opt to? Is that
I haven't thought
the
about
capital I would think that capital projects, this is a huge operating for us as far as the server. That's a huge operating expense. I would think,
The life of those are not that.
Huh?
What
What's
is
the
the
life of those?
lifespan of server?
Well, I found out, and you said in your email, we should have planned for this in a budget. I didn't do that because I had no idea it was going out. We got advised a month ago, 3 weeks ago, when I started sending this out, that it's starting to fail. I had no idea. I can't tell the future. I can't tell you, I had a plan for vehicles. It didn't work. I've got to have these things. I can't tell you, this one has lasted 7 years.
So you don't know the lifespan of the new one that you're looking at? Or what?
We don't know. I'm not a I'm not a computer geek. I don't know. I can tell you this one lasted 7 years.
Can we find out? Just so we can start, anything that you have over at the jail that's big like that might need replacement, we need to know those things. If you can make a list of those and get the lifespan so that we can try to properly budget in the future, put back money, or just like the EMS, equipment, that there were some larger things that we're trying to save for, and we're trying to put back money. So it's not an emergency, and it's not just pop us.
You've been around a long time. You know how computers work.
Yeah, well,
Bills.
there's things that happen, but generally they have, whether it's like a 5 to 7 year lifespan, or, I
This one's
don't,
lasted 7 years, which is great.
Yeah.
Sadly, I think this has been overlooked in the entire county for years. I think last year was the first year I heard the longevity of a piece of equipment discussed at all, and that was about EMS.
And
So
that's
I'm
across all
guessing every department has the same type of
We talked about it on
failure.
the highway as far as replacing trucks.
Yeah.
so if we can,
I hate bringing this back to budget again, but the budgeting process seems to have not had this type of information in it in the past, and is missing some additional things that have occurred that we don't know what they are, but if we would know those, then we can better budget. I'm looking at this for next year, okay? Yeah, well, I know you know those things are going to happen, and any budget is just the best guess that we could have at any point in time, okay? But we need to kind of have an idea to see if we can't come within 5%. And it sounds like there's going to be a lot more expenses in the sheriff's department and the jail that have not been planned for and have not been taken into account in the budgeting process because of lack of information. If we get the information, it sounds to me like we're going to have a much higher budget in sheriff and jail, but we need to do a better job of
What-
assigning that money to
What I'd
you,
like
so
to
you
re-
don't have to keep coming in here and
What I'd
doing
like to
this and
remind
wasting your
people that
time.
We have a fantastic jail. I
Yes.
will tell you right now, it is 10 years old. 11 years, we are starting to have fails. And this is what I don't want to see nothing happen like it did in New Orleans, having 10 escapes. I've got to get this. So I'm asking you, if I ordered it, could you guys please do an emergency meeting? And please let me get this.
I know that the commissary is your discretion. For the most part, what's the intent? What's its purpose? When it was created, however many moons ago.
Supplement, I mean,
That's it,
I
that
buy,
is.
I buy a lot of things out of there, body armor, I buy out of there. I buy,
It helps offset our budget, right? I mean, that's,
yes, it does, and I do, which I do.
yeah, you do.
You know, I've bought vehicles in the past.
Sure.
I have bought a lot of things in the past, but I have not had to come to you all to ask for body armor. I have not come to you to come to firearms, any of that stuff. You know, always take care of that.
Is the battery backup a requirement this time?
Yes,
also?
yes, and it's 5,000, and I've even said in my email, I will pay for that out of the commissary.
I know.
But there isn't one now. That's like, okay.
So, get that shot, get blows.
Is there somewhere else?
But the one that's there now is not okay either?
There's two that control the bank.
Control.
And one of them is out.
But it takes two to run the whole
Right.
thing.
I know servers go out. I mean, and you know, I worked in IT, I know it's quick. And Chris, is there any other fund this could come out of?
This was
Like
just mentioned in-
Riverboat or Tribal?
Tribal's gone, we could take it out of the unrestricted opioid. We could look at Riverboat.
I think the unrestricted opioid would be a better, if we're going, it doesn't
I don't think
fall
he was
under
using
this
it
capital
for
project.
anything.
fund.
There's been some.
I just didn't know, like, when I had talked to Alan,
Unrestricted, there's two. There's
I will
unrestricted
honestly
and
say that Alan called me asking where, you know, and I suggested this. And I'll say that, and my reason being, which I completely understand is capital projects, but this money was originally collected as a jail tax for the jail. I understand that's been changed, so I said I would go there. My next motion, or my next move would be the building maintenance, you know, and I know that you responded on that because I feel like those are operating expenses, those are things we needed. We just purchased an HVAC for out there last year out of building maintenance. These are things that we need, and I completely understand and see the point. This is why I feel like we need to spend more time with our departments in our budget and saying, okay, let's get some procurement plans going on replacement plans for things, and spend more time having a more accurate budget. But those were my two suggestions as far as capital projects, and I completely understand that that's the change, but in my mind, that's originally what this,
so that's why. you put
that's
that.
why I suggested that. And then I suggested the building. I don't have anything else other than opioid, or if you want to go to Riverboat. Those are four.
How much money's in the Riverboat?
We haven't got our money this year. I think it's 50. I think 51 or between
Yeah.
50.
To me, this is not a huge amount of money. I would like to take it out of Riverboat.
But you can't have accounts go negative, right?
Well, there's money.
It won't be going.
No, there's-
Okay, I'm sorry.
51,000.
Oh, okay.
It would just have to be an additional appropriation,
This would basically just be,
an intent to do an additional
Intent.
appropriation at the next meeting.
and
And allow him to go ahead and purchase that with the
It takes
intent of,
2 to 3 weeks.
but we'd have 30 days for
but
that
what I'm
anyways.
saying is,
Yeah, they got to build.
I think we've done that before, like whenever you got your dishwasher or your salt, do you remember, Eric?
Yes.
Okay. You got one of those bigger purchases and it was like an intent, you went ahead and ordered it, and then the next meeting, because they needed more money, I think it was something similar.
I would
Wasn't it?
appreciate
Was there a
it.
situation?
Yes.
Yeah, so my other Riverboat or the opioid, unrestricted. But we were talking about.
How much is in the opioid fund?
The unrestricted was, I don't want to, don't
I
quote
can-
me, but I thought it was like 90.
90.
I'll email you guys exactly.
90-ish.
I apologize.
There was like, just say 90 to be safe. I think it was close
A
to
little
that.
less, little less, little less.
A little less, yeah, plus or minus, is that what you were saying?
Yes.
Well, like I said, this is not a huge amount of money, so
It's 79,
I think-
what is it,
Right.
7,009?
yeah,
And
I
this will
think,
cover everything.
I think we should take it out of Riverboat.
Yes.
Can you find out for us can you guys work on, and maybe we just need to send out a memo to all departments. If there are things, and I consider this big, something a little larger, anything, if you can work on the lifespans, like, is it 2 to 3 years, is it 5 to 10 years?
You did IT, can we figure that out
What's that?
on IT?
Well, I'm not gonna hold you to it if it fails before then, so we can start trying to somewhat plan for the future.
Sometimes you can't tell, I mean,
There's one off.
you might buy a laptop or something that's defective when you first get it, so.
That's why I asked that.
Yeah. Most of the time, I would say 5 to 7 years, according to how much it's used. And
It's not.
And these are 24/7.
Yeah, and it's heavily used, so.
What happens to it? What happens to the other one? You trade it in?
And that would be raised for public
Yeah.
comment.
Good question. I'll go come take it, get away from it.
Well, no, I mean, it's probably really sensitive information.
It should be.
So I don't know what
Yeah,
happens to
that-
that.
Isn't it a different name? Opioid, isn't it a different name? I can't remember what it's under.
It's fine, I know it's 90,000.
Make sure you keep a lot.
Somewhere in there. It's,
Yeah.
I just looked at it
Yeah,
today,
we don't want
because I was
something
looking for the siren.
to happen.
That's, I guess, here it is, opioid.
It's 91.
91.8, yep, you're good, 91.8.
91 in the opioid.
91,800, that's why we had 8 in our head, $91,895.
Well,
And restricted.
If we, either one, I mean, I'm not,
understand the county's intent for that capital project fund, but the larger state level, IT infrastructure is included in capital projects. I just want to throw that out there. I'm perfectly fine with either of those accounts that we're discussing, but it's not completely out.
I just don't see that as like a.
I know, but I do feel,
The
but I do
question.
feel that if, that's why I asked that question, because I do feel that if our server here at the courthouse would go down, that would be a huge expense. And
That's
I
what I
do
wanted to
feel
say.
that
Well,
is that's the fund you would go to.
We're talking about, this needs to be looked at too, what the things, who owns the server here, so. Anyways,
We'll put it down.
I mean, you own it?
No, the courthouse.
Okay.
I didn't know, I thought you
Somebody
might
have a
be an
motion, I'm
island or
sorry. Did you make a motion or did
No,
Stan?
but
well,
Or did Stan say-
Or what do you want to
we
do?
can take it out of opioid then, right?
Opioid, what, unrestricted?
Yeah. I'm not opposed to funding, I just don't want it coming out of the capital project, so let's just take it out of there then.
I'll
Okay,
make a
so
motion,
what's the motion? Motion of intent to go ahead and let him purchase it? or
intent to purchase and pay through non-restricted opioid
Through an
as
additional,
discussed.
through an additional
An
next
additional
meeting?
appropriation at the next,
So I can go ahead and order.
That's
if it passes, yeah.
Yeah,
if it passes, yeah.
I can't do it, they're closed. We're check.
Okay,
I mean, we're not talking
motion
10,
made by
20,
Cory.
30,000 here,
quick discussion,
you know,
Yeah.
it's,
the time period for this to occur for him, for his purposes, 30 days or 10 days,
He can
Well,
go
at
ahead and
least 10
order it. We won't have to pay, we'll
Motion
have,
to attend.
motion of intent, then
I
I'll
don't
do.
like to do that, but we have done that before.
Yeah.
Typically, it's 10 days for an additional appropriation. We
Right.
have to advertise 10 days, and we would have had to come back for a special
Special
meeting.
meeting.
But the problem would have been if you had to wait 10 days and this goes out or something.
that's what, I mean, you have said this is urgent, and I
Yeah.
was I wanted to make
And
sure
that's
that.
why I recommended commissary. I
And we
didn't want you to wait.
We got.
It's not because I'm trying to attack your commissary, it's because I didn't want you to have to
And
wait.
also, we cannot, it won't allow us to even update it right now because it's,
Will this thing limp or,
It's so old that they're.
It's probably gonna get bad next month too, when they do away with current condensers.
So they have more patches for fixing the problems.
is this thing gonna limp along for a while, or is it gonna just boom?
Knock on, that's what she's knocking on right now.
And
Okay.
what's, do you have your
Because it
warranty
goes
or
out,
something on
we're
this
down
one?
paper, people don't turn
it was on there, but I damn.
Oh, sorry, I
remember
didn't.
Where it was.
It's,
How-
I assume it will.
Yeah.
how did you say that system
That
was?
scares me. I know it
7
scares
years.
you.
Oh, that's, yeah,
Maybe we get to.
you're buying your time after that.
Okay, motion made by Cory. You heard what he said.
I'll second it.
Yep.
Second by Stan.
Second by Stan. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you all very much.
Thank
Any
you.
nays? No. Motion passes 7-0.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, the next additional appropriation is just the appropriation of the community crossings, so we can move that over. $398,850.
And that's what we always do.
Yes,
That's good.
Okay.
yeah, it's money we receive and we have to appropriate before we pay the bill for it.
Okay.
I'll make the motion to appropriate that.
Motion made by David, second by Gail. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes 7-0. Okay, we're through those. So next is Ann Island, and he could not be here either. So here I am. You're stuck with me. Sorry. He had sent some information to me, and then I forwarded it to you guys. This is in regards to our WOW financial system.
It's not,
What?
it's in regards to remoting into our server,
Okay,
but you guys use
Right,
it for
that's
WOW,
correct.
it's remoting into our server.
remoting into that. Yeah, remoting into the server so we can access WOW. Because I don't know how anybody, I do know how other people, because I've asked them how they can get in or not get in or take 3 hours like it does me. I did have Anjan put, he wanted to test it first to see if this was gonna work, and he put it on my computer and it's really fast. And so it's probably like on here, you know, I don't have any issues, it's just like pulling up a web browser and moving from one thing to the next. So what he had said was, the Windows server, you need all three of these things. For this to work. So the first thing, the Windows Server 2025 Standard Core License Package, that is a one-time fee and you have to have it. The last thing is a 64 gigabyte server, memory, additional RAM. You have to have that. That's a one-time fee. And then the middle thing he has listed here are the Windows Server User License for remote WOW access. So what this is, you know, there's 3 commissioners and 7 councilmen, so there's 10 of us, but this is a fee for, you know, this fee that he has, $326. It is a one-time fee, not every year, not recurring. I made sure that it was just a one-time fee. But it's, however, it depends on how many accesses you want at the same time. And I was just thinking maybe 3, you know, and that allow any of us at any given time, 3 of us to be on at the same time. And what happens is if a 4th one would pop on, it would just kick somebody off. But I'm here to tell you, I work late at night and
So you
early in the
can't share
morning,
that?
so I'm probably not gonna be one of those people. And there's not gonna be too many people probably on there whenever I'm on there, so you don't have to worry about that. But, so I was just thinking like 3 might be a good number, and it's something, he said we can always add more if we need to. If it becomes like, you know, there's seems to be 4 or 5 wanting to get on at the same time all the time, then we can come back and add another one or additional. So I was just.
Mechanics of it, if 4 people try, the 4th person will not be able to get on. Is that what the deal
It
is?
kicks one of the other 3 off and
Great.
lets you in, they said, so.
Okay, that's inconvenient, yes.
Is this something we want to look at too? Because we do have offices off-site. I mean, I know this is going to be an expense, but we've got offices off-site that are still having, you know, they're having to VPN in, and that's why, you know, you've got the health department, you've got the extension office.
Well, it's something we
Highway.
could just add, they could be added
Highway.
users, I think. You know, they would just be an additional 326 one-time fee. So
Yeah.
at any time, we can add more, he said. It just.
And it's fast.
It's great, yeah.
Anjan did it for me.
Yeah.
And Lao is just unusable. I've said this
It
to you before.
For
It's
sure.
unusable in
I don't
Gatineau.
want you to say that because it's not loud, it's remoting into the server.
Okay.
Because
Lao becomes unuser because
Lau's
it can't
also
get
if
into
you-
the
Lau's
server.
also-
If you can get to it.
Because we don't have desktop computers.
yes,
Right.
you don't have desktop, you're remoting in, it's not necessarily loud.
I feel like.
That's probably
3
my
is
fault. I
a-
probably said that to him.
Yeah.
so.
Yeah,
3 is
well,
a good number to start with, and I think we need to look at.
Yeah.
Next budget season, adding
Yeah.
everybody in there.
And that's something we can have the offices that are having remote in put into their budget.
yeah, there you go.
So it's accounted under each location.
I mean, if they're not functioning, I mean, are you hearing complaints or?
We have to do a lot. I mean, the whole purpose was for them to have it at their fingertips and be able to do it. And just like you guys are having time getting to VPN, it is different when you're not in the courthouses. You know, you're having to VPN. And so most of the time, they'll just email me and say, hey, can you send me this information or whatnot? I know that, you know, them remoting into entering claims they wait till they get in,
Okay.
so.
So, we, this wasn't advertised or anything, so,
No, we need to go back and vote on the capital projects as a nay. We can vote on it. You see what I'm saying?
oh, yeah, okay. I missed that. Okay, so for this, okay. For this one, what do you guys want to do with this? Do you want to just,
What's the grand total for 3?
for 3, it would be $3,868, and that's all one-time fees. There's no reoccurring. I think that was in the email where I had asked, and so,
And the one-time price for the server that Anjan had said would in the future take care of any other remote people like out at the armory. So that's
my
going to be
understanding.
usable across the board, not just for commissioners and council.
It's a one-time thing.
I believe so. I said, let's see here. I asked him
So there's
to facilitate remote functionality on the LAO system. All 3 items are you listed are required, yes. The second expense listed is $326. Does this mean that
Yeah,
each
but it's
user who requires
it's
a
a
simultaneous
permanent license.
access?
It's not
Yes.
a yearly
for instance.
license.
Okay, yeah.
Just one time, yeah.
I mean, I didn't specifically ask that. I guess I assume that that's the case since he said you can just add however many users you want and continue to add on at any time for the $326. But I mean, if you want me to ask him that, I can. Up to you.
I'd like,
I think it's necessary.
Okay. Do we want to just put in an additional for next meeting or,
yes.
okay, and where would you like to take this from? And do you want 3? Does everybody think 3 is okay to start with?
I think so.
I think that's a good number.
Yeah,
So where would you like to do an additional from for the next meeting?
I'd say
So she
Riverboat's
knows.
a good option.
Riverboat or opioid unrestricted and the same kind? Okay. Is that what you, or do you want to make a motion or?
I will make that motion for 3 licenses and the
Server,
one-time purchases for remoting into the server itself for 3 licenses from Ann Island paid through Riverboat.
That was a lot.
I'll second that.
Motion made by Corey, second by David. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
So you'll have that advertised next meeting. Okay, so Chris says we need to go, or Corey says we need to go back and since we did not approve the capital projects fund, sheriff's office, repairs, building and fixtures, we need to take a vote on that since it's on here. Well, it just didn't have a motion.
Died for motion.
died with no
It
motion.
did, yeah, so technically we don't need to vote.
I don't think so.
Died with no motion.
Okay. Okay. But good catch, Corey. We'll follow that. Next is the siren at Rocky Point.
I reached out to Steve Hauser, and I know he had emailed you guys,
Yep.
and was basically wanting, he's, not here tonight, but wanted to basically get your guys's, of course, this is something we have to replace, the siren. Where's that again?
It's at Rocky Point.
Rocky Point.
Yep.
It will be reimbursed by FEMA, but not anytime soon.
Might be a couple years.
It will or it might be.
He said it will.
I think the email said it might be, but it could take up to a couple years.
Might be,
It might be,
might be, okay.
but it might also be 3 years or
They
something.
never say yes, they say might.
Might be.
Okay.
I
I think he's turned it in on the claim though with the
Yes, I
flood
think the
damage,
paperwork
so.
has already been turned in. I think so.
Okay,
My bad.
that's okay.
But in order, once again,
Insurance would not cover it.
order it, in
It was
order,
not $50,000 damage.
I need to know where we
I'm
want to
glad.
do the additional,
Yeehaw.
where you want to pay this out of. And this is the one that Kelly and I talked about for opioid unrestricted
Yeah,
as well.
that was the 91,895 that we just got but I mean, I think it needs to be, in my opinion, the same as what Allen's was. It's kind of an emergency. We need to get this going to get this replaced up there so that the people have a siren. We're kind of in tornado season here, so they need to get that done as soon as possible. So if we could do a motion intent or something very similar to what, to allow them to go ahead and purchase it and do the additional.
Make a motion, we allow Steve Hauser to purchase the replacement for the siren at Rocky Point and the funds to come from opioid unrestricted.
Okay, so, and we'll just do the additional on the June meeting.
Yep.
Okay, motion made by Brad,
Second.
second by Gail. Any further discussion?
I do have one question.
Yeah.
Is that siren in a floodplain, was it damaged because of, it was flooding or what?
I
For
think,
planning.
yeah, I think that the issue that he stated was they didn't mount it high enough, that they mounted it where they thought the 97 flood levels were, a couple feet above that, but it ended up, that wasn't correct. So
Would it be mounted higher so it doesn't get into floodwaters
we can
again?
request that.
I think that's what Steve planned on to do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's something. needs to
It
be
was in
different.
the transmission of the conversation for Steve and the bidders.
Yeah,
Okay.
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 So
Answers
as long
that.
as that's
Yeah.
taken care of.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay, so I forgot. Who had the motion?
You just have to vote now.
Oh, Brad had the motion, Gail seconded, and any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 7-0. And next is, EMS update. At the commissioners meeting on Tuesday, they're looking to advertise for bids to see what opportunities are available that we might not be aware of. As you're aware, the contract for EMS services is from like 1980s, somewhere in the 80s. I don't have it. And it's just, to take a look at that. And, these are tax dollars, so we're just going to do our due diligence. And so they're just looking for support from the council to just open it up.
I'll make a motion to support him to advertise for it.
Okay. Motion made by David,
Second.
second by Brad. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Abstain.
Motion passes 6-0-1 with Corey abstaining. Open board appointments.
I just wanted to give you guys an update. We have advertised for the animal welfare. I know we received an email before we had even posted it. I just thought maybe you guys might want to because
I just had one question because I went back, I couldn't find that email and I found it. My only issue is this one says, I pulled it up on the website and I just did this today because I couldn't find it. I found it. It says it has to be someone from an animal sporting organization. They have to belong to an animal. That's just part of the rules. So I don't know. I didn't think I saw that in here, but I'm not saying he's not, is the issue. I don't know.
Maybe reach out to him on that.
Do you have his phone number? Because I don't see it.
I just emailed him. Did he email him? Did he email him?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'll just email him. Yeah.
Who is it? Can you tell that?
Robert Faust or Faust.
So-
I think they're fairly new.
To the
Yeah, I think they're fairly new to the community.
Okay.
So I'm not sure.
Okay. I'll
I mean-
reach out to him.
Do you see anything in here? I don't.
I don't remember the letter, so.
Okay.
I'll just.
I just noticed that today and I thought we better make sure because before we make appointments. Yeah, if you'll do that. I mean, I appreciate his interest, but I just want to make sure we're following all the rules. So, is there anything else?
What else
Next
do
meeting.
I advertise? Animal welfare?
Animal welfare, and then we have one, that's another thing. Good, thank you, Corey. We have one opening on the PWO board. We have 4 of the positions filled, myself as a Republican, and then we have 3 independents. And so this can be a Republican or a Democrat on the PWO. Because it can't be more than a simple majority, so there can't be any more independents. And it goes by what Rod said, we have to look at their history. And so if you know anybody that might be interested or.
No applications.
I mean, I haven't.
2 people had withdrawn. Did they put their name back in or not?
I haven't got it.
They withdrew it and they're done.
So we have one opening left. It doesn't prevent business from happening if we need to.
Right.
It's just if you know anybody that might be interested, so.
Okay.
And they are posted on the website. Okay.
That's all we have left, is it?
Yep. So if there's nothing else, it looks like our next meeting is Thursday, June 26th, 2025 at 5 o'clock. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
Motion made by Brad, second by
Steve?
Stan. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
All right, so don't leave, you have papers.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start charging.
Lots and lots.
Sign?
Can I do that?